Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of this video series. In this video, we will see how we can install Visual Studio in our machine. In this video, you will see how we can install Visual Studio Community Edition. After that, I will give you a walkthrough of Visual Studio. We will understand what are the features of Visual Studio and we are going to see some basic keyboard shortcuts. First, you need to go on to the Google and here you can search install Visual Studio. And you have to select the first link. You have to come to this URL. Once you are at this URL, you will see the three links here for community, professional and enterprise editions. You have to select the community edition because this is free for us. You will just go ahead and click on free download. Once that is done, it will download the Visual Studio installer for you. Once the installer is downloaded, you can go ahead and double click on the installer. On this pop-up, you have to give continue. Once the Visual Studio installer is installed in your machine, you will be able to see two tabs there. You will see installed and available. So all the available software will be coming into this tab and whatever software you have installed will be coming onto the install tab. Here you can see I have the Visual Studio Community 2022 preview that is available to me. I can go ahead and click on install button. Once you install this, you will have Visual Studio in your machine. One thing you have to make sure when you are installing the Visual Studio, you have to check this particular module which says ASP.NET and web development because we are going to use .NET to develop our application in this video series. So I will recommend you to check this checkbox and then go ahead and click on install button. Once the installation is done, you can come back to your start menu and you will see your Visual Studio will be there. If it is not there, you can just search Visual Studio and you will see the option there. Just click on that. It will start up the Visual Studio. Once the Visual Studio is running, you will see the four options there. Clone a repository, open a project from solution, open a local folder, or create a new project. So clone a repository means if you have your code on GitHub or Azure DevOps, you can use this option to get that code into Visual Studio and start editing that. If you have your project or solution in your local system, you can choose this option and this will open your solution files or project within the Visual Studio. And if you have any particular files which are not belonging to any project or solution, you can still go ahead and open those folder and edit those files. And if you want to create a new project, you will click on the create a new project button. That's what we are going to do in this video. After clicking on create a new project, you will see a lot of options there. You will particularly will be seeing the three drop downs. First drop down belongs to the languages, in which language you want to create your project. There you will see multiple options: C Sharp, F Sharp, C++, JavaScript, and lot more. In the second drop down, you can see which platform you want to use, like where you want to deploy your application. Once it is done, you will see Android, Azure, iOS, Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. And third drop down will tell you which type of project you want to create. Here we have multiple options like console, desktop, games, library, SQL, and many other objects. So for this demo, we will select C Sharp as a programming language. We will select Windows as our platform and we will select the console as our project type. So let's select this template and click on next. Once you are at this window, you have to specify the project name. I am just going to give demo C Sharp. And second field, in this field we have to give the location where I want to create the project. I will keep it as a default and I have to click on next. Once we are on this window, we have to specify the version which we should be using in this application. Currently I have four options here. If you have multiple .NET version installed, you will see multiple options there. But for now, I will select the .NET 6 version and click on create button. It will take some time to create the project for you. Once the project is created, you will see the program.cs file. This is where we will write the code, and you will see the green play button there. This is nothing but to start the application. So I will just go ahead and click on it. So it will build my project and it will run on the console window. You can see the hello world is getting printed here. So we have successfully installed and created our first project in Visual Studio. And guys, if you want a good resource to know how to install Visual Studio step by step, you can come to this URL. I will provide this link in the description so you can just easily follow this tutorial. Here you will see all the steps which are required. So by the way, website name is javapine.com. So you can go ahead and browse this website and come to this URL. Here you will see all these steps. Like in the first step, you need to download the community edition of the Visual Studio using this button. And again, you can see the website name here, visualstudio.microsoft.com/downloads. Once you are at this page, you will select the free download button. Once it is downloaded, your file will be there in your downloads folder and you have to click on run button. Once the Visual Studio installer is installed, you will see there you will see multiple options from where you can choose your Visual Studio version, and you will go ahead and click on install. When you are installing the Visual Studio, you will get multiple options. As I said earlier, you have to select the .NET desktop development, and you have to select the .NET and web development also. So just select the first option and click on install. So the installation will get started. And once it is installed, you can click on the launch button, and similar way Visual Studio will start, and you can select your particular theme which you want to use. You have four themes by default: blue with extra contrast, dark, and light theme. Once the theme is selected, you can just go ahead and click on start Visual Studio, and after that you will see all the four options which we have just discussed earlier. You can just click on the create new project and your new project will be created. So this is the URL where you have to navigate and download the Visual Studio. This is visualstudio.microsoft.com/downloads. So let's see some of the keyboard shortcuts that are available in Visual Studio. First one is F5. So if you press F5, what will happen? Our project will be built, and once that is built, then the project will start in debugging mode. I will go ahead and put a breakpoint there, and I will click on the green button, or I will just press F5. So the application is starting in debugging mode. We can see the debug point is also getting hit here. So it means the application is running on debug mode, and because we are on the breakpoint, nothing will get print. If I give continue, then it will move from that debug point and the hello world will be get printed. In shortcut is Control F5. This will run our application without debugging mode. I will press Control and F5. It will run our application. You can say this time we didn't hit our debug point, and we already see the hello world is printed here. So it means the application didn't go to debug mode. Third option is Control Shift B. This is to build your project. So I will just go ahead and I will press Control Shift and B button. You can see the build was succeeded. What I will do, I will just go ahead and clean the build first because I have built the project earlier. So now you can see the build was removed, and now we have the clean code. Now I will go ahead and build the project again. This time you can see build 1 succeeded, and you can see at this time the build was completed, and it took only 0.8 seconds to complete the build. Next shortcut is Control plus scroll up and Control plus scroll down. This is basically to zoom in and zoom out in the window. If I press the Control button and scroll up, this will zoom in, and if I scroll down, it will zoom out. So these are the some basic shortcuts that we can use in Visual Studio. So that's it for this video, guys. In the next video we will learn about the C# data types. Thank you for watching.